Hello and welcome to Aging Fearlessly. I am your host, Guillermo Vidal, and I'm so happy you could join me today. Now don't forget, if you like the content of this program, press like, and if you want to receive it regularly, subscribe to the channel. Okay, let me go on. A lot has happened in a short span of days since my last program. I returned to my Florida home in Sarasota that was just hit by Hurricane Helene. Fortunately, my home was spared, but not my garage. A 6-foot water surge flooded my garage and destroyed pretty much everything in it, including my car and my motorcycle. But don't feel sorry for me. Many of my Florida neighbors got hit much worse, and I'm incredibly grateful to have been spared further damage. So let's get to the topic at hand. Did you notice anything that stood out or roused your curiosity in the last 2 episodes of the Golden Bachelorette? I did. Let me start with this. Whose idea was it to put so many men in a frat-type housing where they are to sleep in bunk beds? Don't the producers realize how many times men of this age get up to pee at night? It is on the range of 4 to 6 times a night. What is going to happen in the dark when some of these men have to go and they forget they are sleeping on the bunk bed? Oh, the humanity! I hope the showmakers have good liability insurance. The second thing that stood out to me is that this show seems less serious than I expected. It's very high schoolish. The prom date scenario, the kickball, football competition. I just find these parts of the program boring and childish. But there is something about it that makes sense to me. Many of today's seniors married their high school sweethearts, and they now find themselves unexpectedly entering the dating world looking for love after the end of a 30-some-year relationship. This probably means that some of the contestants on this show, the last time they went out on a date or fell in love was during their high school years. Some of them even probably marry the prom queen or the captain of the football team. And let me tell you, this is what makes dating so hard when you're a senior. For you forget that though you may have had a wonderful nostalgic memories about high school and your first love, the fact is you are different now, more mature, and your prospective lovers' attitudes and beliefs should be well beyond their high school stage. You'd be surprised how many of them are not. The third thing that stands out to me is how the first thing that the men notice or comment on is on Miss Vasos' beauty. And she definitely is, and certainly dresses in a manner to accentuate her features. Nothing wrong with any of this. But it does serve as a reminder of the priority we place on women's physical looks above all else. During my dating period, my dates often spoke about the pressure they felt to stay shapely and to try to look much younger than they were. Many complained that they had often had to lie about their age in order to get men interested in them, for they believed men were looking for women who were 10, 20 years younger than them. Now, I don't know for sure, but Miss Vasos looks like she has had some cosmetic surgery done. And I also noticed, by the way, in the past program, The Golden Bachelor, that cosmetic surgery seemed to be rampant among the women who competed for a chance to marry Gary Turner. The men on The Golden Bachelorette, on the other hand, don't seem to feel the same pressure. Although some of them are fit, this is not a requirement among them. Although there may be some hair coloring and Botox among the men there, they clearly feel more comfortable with their physical aging than society allows women to feel. So here's a word of caution for women. There's an old saying that God gave men enough blood to operate their brains and their penis, but not both of them simultaneously. Now, I certainly have to own that status, for in hindsight, I must admit that I placed too much emphasis on physical attraction in picking a lover, and I often got into relationships I should not have because of this. The point is this: if you have a guy that is constantly raving about your looks, remember this old saying that I just shared with you, and then make sure that he honors the other valuable parts of your person. Physical looks don't last forever. Okay, a couple other things that are worth mentioning is that Miss Vasos is very touchy-feely and often ends up kissing and touching her dates a lot. There's nothing wrong with this. In my book, I call it sampling. And I think it is a great idea to date several people and sample the romantic side of the relationship and your feelings about that. But this is very different when it comes to sex. Sampling then becomes a bad idea. I'll talk about this more in my sex talk when the right time comes for this Golden Bachelorette show. Last but not least, let's talk red flags. There are two obvious places where they showed up to me. The first one is the French guy, Pascal Ibgui. He fits the perfect definition of the narcissist. So what are the signs, you ask? Well, he started out complaining a lot about not having a big enough closet for all the clothes he wants to wear. He explained he needed them because he has not done laundry for over 40 years. That would put him in his 20s since the last time he did laundry. Someone has been doing it for him, and you wonder what else somebody has to do for him. Now, I don't know about you, and although I take clothes to the cleaners now and again, I still have to do my laundry. Other clues here, by the way, were his need to get attention, whether for his cooking or in his declaration to the group that he sleeps naked. And when they asked him why, he states, "I'm very proud of my masculinity. I'm not going to hide it." Narcissists, by the way, can be very charming, and he is all of that. Now, I can be wrong about the guy, but my point here is that if you notice that you're dating a narcissist, run like hell, for they will grind you down to a clump of dirt with their demands. Last but not least was the brief appearance of the Golden Bachelor, Gary Turner. He was on long enough to remind me of what a slimeball I thought he was. When Vasos asked for his advice, Turner tells her, "Have you thought about the fact that the person you are looking for may not be in this group?" And that was a really good point until he followed up with a not-so-subtle hint that he's interested in her when he told her that. He still remembers the great connection they had from the wonderful date they had experienced in the Golden Bachelor. It was an obvious, "You can still pick me." Thank God she did not take him up on it. All right, hang in there till we see each other again.